Hi, and welcome to It Figures. So this is my first flashback video, and if you're wondering what's going on here, I made another video, which is a previous video on here, explaining what the flashback video is. So if you're wondering what's happening, go check out my previous post about the flashback video. Alright, so my very first review was of Dom from Gears of War. Now this is a figure that came out probably 6 years ago, maybe a little bit longer, but it still holds up today as an amazing figure. I absolutely still love this figure, and it's really one of the best, I still think it's one of the best video game figures out there. Besides, of course, all the incredible World of Warcraft figures that have come out. So here it is, my review of Dom from Gears of War. Packaging wise, it's okay. There's nothing really spectacular here. It's just basically him in the vacuum sealed pack with some okay graphics on the front and a few more here on the sides. It's pretty much your standard NECA packaging. There's nothing really all that fancy here. Here's the back of it. And it talks a little bit about Marcus and who he is and what he does, I guess. And down here on the bottom you get a little preview of some of the other figures that are coming out in the series. As you see, the price tag for Marcus is pretty expensive, $16.99, 17 bucks for a figure. It's kind of outrageous a little bit, but I mean, I got this at the store here in St. Louis called Spencer's. So I mean, for the kind of figure and detail that's in the figure, $17, even though it is kind of outrageous, I can kind of see for the size of the figure, the detail, it's I guess okay. So let's go get the old scissors out and let's open Marcus. So inside the package here is some ties holding Marcus in. So it's all really holding him inside the vacuum sealed packaging, so you just gotta undo those ties and let him out. So here is Marcus outside of the packaging. I did find that some of his joints were very stiff. It took a little bit to really kind of loosen them up, and now they almost seem too loose actually. The one knee joint is a little loose. Makes him standing a little difficult, but you know, he still can obviously stand on his own. This is what I was kind of talking about. It's a little loose. It was real stiff, and then I broke it. I mean, I didn't actually break it, but I broke the stiffness out of it, and now it's just kind of a little bit too loose almost. But he does have articulation here, and in his foot. His foot moves. Don't move side. I guess it does move side to side a little bit. Half leg thigh here does move. His arms move in and out, and they don't so much bend. You can't straighten his arm, but it goes side to side, and his hand moves. And he has a ball jointed head, which don't really have too much movement there. So now we get to the fun part, the absolute extreme detail on this figure. It's just really mind-blowing. I mean, it's some of the best details I have ever seen on any figure. So the detail on here is just absolutely phenomenal. You can see the packs around his waist there, extreme detail just like everything else. Even his elbow pads are just, I mean, it's like they did not omit anything from this figure. It's just amazing looking. He does have a knife there on his right foot, but unfortunately is not removable. It's glued into place. The paint applications are pretty much just about on mark with the sculpt. There's very little slop to any of it. His armor looks dirty like it should. You know, the parts that are that do have color, like the back here, are really nice. The pack and his packs on his waist are really well done. I really like the detail around his neckline back here. It's very, very nice. And as you can see, you know, his chest plate, very nicely done. Even the little tiny lights, I guess that's would be, are on there. And it looks like he must have some sort of mud or rust or dirt or something on his shoes. It could be blood. It doesn't really look like blood though, it's more dirt looking color. You can see the amazing detail on his gun. This is his pistol, and just like the figure, it's extremely well sculpted and has, you know, even little bit of paint applications on here, just, you know, for the effect. And it's extremely well done, just like the figure. And now we get to the reason why I think a lot of people actually bought this figure. It wasn't so much for the figure itself, but for the chainsaw gun, and for anyone who's actually played the game knows how incredible a weapon this is and how fun it was to use it. And it doesn't disappoint with the figure. Again, extreme detail here. It has, again, incredible paint applications everywhere. And then they didn't really omit anything from it, just like the pistol. But, you know, it's actually a lot better than the pistol. Because it does have one moving part that comes out and goes back in. So the chainsaw gun fits really nicely into Marcus's hands. You can see his hand actually comes up there through the hole and grips it really nice. And his other hand is holding it also. His pistol also fits pretty nicely in his hand, though I don't know if it's as good as fit as the chainsaw gun. So there you have it. This is Marcus from Gears of War. So now let's take a look at the Figometer and see how Marcus stacks up. For packaging, very plain. Not a fan of vacuum sealed packaging. So on the Figometer, it gets a 2 out of 5. Articulation, he's not the best articulated figure around. It's more like a statue. I mean, it's not made for 5-year-olds to play with out in the sandbox, obviously. So articulation, even though, you know, he does have ball jointed head, wrists, elbows, arms, knees, feet, mid thigh, I would have to give it 3 out of 5. So sculpt, paint, detail, all of it gets a 5 out of 5. Marcus is it. I mean, he's one of the best figures I've ever seen from a video game. The extreme detail here is just amazing. And for a figure, overall, I would have to give Marcus a 5 out of 5. There you go, my first flashback review. There's going to be plenty more to come. Like I said in my previous post, I'm going to try to give you guys at least one review a week. And if I am not able to bring you a brand new review, I will bring you at least a flashback review of some of the older things that I have posted on another site. Subscribe, 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 because I want this to be the #1 action figure site on YouTube. And I can't do it without you guys. So until next time, I will see you on It Figures.